Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be finally checking out the demo for Skins by DPR Ian. I was speaking with a commenter earlier about this song, and they explained how Maito had written this, and Ian mixed and mastered, I guess, the version that's on streaming services, I think they said. Forgive me, I'm trying to remember exactly what they said. And so going into this, I knew this was a demo. But when I loaded the page up and I saw that the song length was 100 was 1 minute and 53, I was like, oh, I can see why people are saying like, oh, we want a full version. Because the commenter was saying like, oh, you know, people have asked Ian, and Ian has said that it's not his, it's Maito's, and therefore he isn't finishing it and stuff like that. Which, yeah. So when I loaded this and I saw it was so short, I was like, oh, this opening frame that I can just see on my screen, because obviously I have the video loaded up. It looks like quite an industrial, like maybe even like urban scene behind Maito, potentially, maybe. I'm not sure. Pause warning before I start rambling about the opening frame before I've even like loaded anything up for you guys. Pause warning. I am a pauser. If that's not for you, that's totally okay. But yeah, let's spend probably longer than 1 minute and 53 seconds together watching this. Yay. Ooh. Okay, sorry. I know I'm already pausing, but I already have something to say. If you guys hadn't explained to me the context behind this song, because of my last reaction, I would have immediately known that this was more likely to be Maito than Ian because of those strings, those stringed instruments. In the comments of the last reaction, I was talking with you guys about how Maito likes like more cinematic string style accompaniments. Okay, sorry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, he's got a nose ring. Ooh. I like, sorry. I like the use of the basically in film there's the 180 rule, which is basically when you're shooting a scene, you have to imagine like an invisible line, and you have to like put the camera on the same points of the line in order to create a kind of a harmonious cinematography for your scene. And if you not sabotage, if you subvert that by having like a camera here and a camera here facing this way, you create this unnerving, somewhat unnatural kind of feel. And I love that we have that switch between, I guess, Ian and Maito, kind of personified through the cinematography there. Sorry. And so, yeah, it appears like we're at night. And obviously in the past, we've kind of seen the night and the dark, like the times when he's left alone. Switches often seem to happen, if I'm remembering correctly. Please let me know if I'm getting that wrong, of course, if I'm misremembering. But yeah, so it's interesting that we're keeping that up. Sorry, I am going to start this again, and we're going to try and get a bit further along. So sorry. like this. I'm sorry, that was so emotional sounding to me. Like, obviously, it's obviously a musical, but the way that like it was being delivered, it felt like, um, it felt like crying out for something, crying out for someone, crying out for whatever, but being restrained, a little bit. Um, there was something I wanted to say. I don't know if you guys noticed. I was like, I want to pause. I want to pause, but I didn't. There was where is it? I can't remember where it is. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So that's what I was. Sorry, I needed to go back to remember. The motif, even of the it sounds like a harp with some like audio effects to make it sound muddled and almost like raindrops um, falling. I don't know if that's the goal, but the motif sounds like it's going down, which is interesting because obviously we've talked in the past about when hosts and altars switch with one another. There's this dissension and ascension as the system moves between those two or between multiple. And so I find it interesting that we're starting the song with that. Sorry, right. I love that he's signing off on it. It's his little tag. Sounds like he's in pain. Like, sorry, it sounds like he's in pain as well. Like, forget like being held back. He sounds like he's in pain. Oh.
What a life it's been on the highest swing. When I'm alone, I let my world explode. Then I'll sink the remains below. And I keep it there until.
Oh. Firstly, that's an excellent reverse rewind. So obviously in the last reaction that I did, we saw obviously the fallen angel kind of cycle and story. Here we've got that continuation, but it's interesting if we take the fallen angel storyline that we saw before and kind of bring it here. It's almost it's almost like he's saying to Ian, perhaps, but certainly to someone, that his fall was because he stepped in to save him. You know, because obviously, and I feel like I always say this, but obviously the purpose of altars, well, they have different personality types, thought processes, and things like that. While they have all of these things, their purpose, in a lot of ways, is to protect the host of the whole system, and so Maito's personality might have been someone who maybe he felt himself good. You know, that's why he sees himself as an angel, and then having to step in for Ian, protect him from whatever he had to protect him from, has made him lose these wings, made him become a villain by proxy, to at least to himself. I loved the use of the voice, the lower voice tone, the lyrics. I loved the it's a half rhyme, but then it comes kind of almost like a rhyming couplet. The wings bin, and then there was oh, what was the word? There was, I was pretty sure there was the third word that tied it back in. Apologies. But I love I don't know, I just love how satisfying that was. Um, we're gonna continue, but I also like the way that like he's effectively saying like my world's been like turned to nothing, so I'm going to. It's almost like I'm going to ruin everything else. Because he was saying about like I'm gonna sink all of the remains.
Spread my wings just to take you in. What a life it's been. On the
On the
highest
highest swings,
wing,
that's what
when
it's
I'm
meaning.
alone, I let my world explode. Then I'll sink the remains below. And I keep it there until there's nothing left.
Oh, before the there was like a high harmony there. That was beautiful. The even like the way that like this is being shot, like he's clearly on a mission. He's clearly focused on something, and there's a shot here. Here, sorry. Um, here. It's like he didn't want to get his suit jacket dirty, or ruffled or anything. Didn't want to leave any signs or anything because like he puts it back on, which is really like I think also indicative of his kind of personality. He seems to be Maito seems to be very efficient, I think is the word I want to use. It seems when he switches, he's because the reason I say that is because a lot of stories I've heard from you guys and stuff like that has been like when Ian has kind of come back to the forefront. Even like with this, he's come back to a song and a music video, and it's like he's very efficient in that way as Maito, in that he could have easily have not done anything, and then or even how sabotaged, like I don't know, like imagine like a sessions on the computer or something for a song. He comes to the surface and then just trashes everything, and then Ian returns and is just left with the consequences. But there's an efficiency there.
What a life it's been. On the highest wing, when I'm alone, I let my world explode. Then I'll sink the remains below. And I keep it there until there's
The
nothing
harmony
left. I gave up long ago, so you can dream it on. But now I stand alone. I broke down all my doors. Oh, do you see it now? Nothing was fixed at all. I never asked.
I'm sorry, there's a real like, oh, well, I'm tearing up a little bit. There's a real pleading here. Like saying like, do you see, and how do you see all that I've done for you? Do you see that I'm here? Do you do you acknowledge my existence? Because it's like he's done all of this stuff for Ian, and maybe at the same time tried to make a life for himself within this system, where he isn't the host necessarily. And you could almost say, like when he says here about like, oh, I gave up long ago, you could almost hear like he's tried to maybe form relationships with people, and then he's faded. I don't know if hope that's an acceptable verb to use there. But like he's returned, almost sidelined, to Ian. And yeah, maybe relationships have failed, started failed, that sort of thing. Because yeah, you might fall in love with, because I think I've said this in a previous fraction, but I think I focused on, mainly on Ian. You can fall in love with one personality, but then when a switch occurs, and depending on how many alters a person has, can be even more, of a dramatic shift between personalities. When that shift occurs, it's like you could wake up next to someone that you just don't know, and that can be very straining for a relationship. I think there's a lot of understanding people in the world, but I would understand that being very strained, and even that relationship breaking from that. I loved how cinematic this section sounded. I know you guys are probably like, oh my god, I want to hear the whole thing. I do too. But oh my god, the way that this section sounded with the strings and the cinematic, just feeling of it all. It's almost like, if you take this as kind of the song of like Maito saying like, pay attention to me, I am here, like almost finding his second wind, to fight for himself maybe, and fight for his personality. You could almost see, the cinematography, the cinematic nature of the song, kind of gearing up for a battle, because you could argue that he is fighting for his existence, and his literal seat at the table, that is this DID system. Um, I apologize. Is that the correct acronym? I keep saying, I think I say that. I think that's right. Apologies, it's really late, when I'm recording this. Um, but I just felt like recording, so I apologize. But yeah, like, so yeah, um, yeah, I'm loving this. Um,
I gave up long
the
ago, so
camera,
you can dream it on, but now I stand alone. I broke down all my doors. How do you see it now? Nothing was fixed at all. I never asked to be like this. I never asked to be like this. I never asked to be
oh, that change up. Oh my god. Um, that was that was painful. And when I say painful, I don't mean like in a negative way. I mean like you could feel the turmoil and the struggle that Maito is going through, in this song. Um, I was gonna say, with even from like the setting, like you obviously, I talked earlier about the time, even the settings itself. There was a lot of places that looked, left behind, isolated. Um, you could even argue unfinished, in some places, or on the reverse, dilapidated. Um, and it's so interesting because when you think, again, what I said earlier, and what I've said in reactions previous, when you think about, DID systems and stuff like that, alters are created to serve as protectors, as defenders of a person, the host, their psyche. And in a lot of ways, and I feel like in a lot of cases, people just think the host, be all end all, that's what we focus on. And they forget the alters. And it's quite disheartening. Sorry, I was trying to think of what word accurately kind of explained how I'm feeling, but it disheartened because you see this fully formed person just as valid as Ian. And it's almost like this is his how he sees the world. It's all disconnected. It's constantly a journey to a thing that I have to fix, and then it's back to my disconnected reality. While someone else, in this case Ian, takes over and takes credit for my work. And I think that's the thing that I have a real big respect for Ian for saying. Again, in the comments, we were talking about how people have asked like this song to be finished. Personally, I think it is finished. I think it was, for as short as it was, I think it was the perfect length. And there's a part of me that is very grateful to Ian that he has enough compassion and empathy for Maito, that he said that like he's not finishing it. Like obviously for streaming stuff and things like that, he's mixed and mastered it and all that stuff, because you gotta meet certain decibels and other guidelines and stuff like that. Completely understand that, but that but he didn't change the heart of it. He didn't make it Ian. Do you know what I mean? He kept it as Maito's song. I think the worst thing that he could have done is if he had changed it, because I just imagine like we see how heartbroken and desperate Maito is, and then imagine like you've just written this song and stuff like that, and then you find yourself losing you're losing control of yourself because the host's coming back, and then it's like he changes it, and then maybe you surface and you go to listen to it, maybe even you go to finish it, and you go to it and you're like, oh, this isn't how I left this. Why is this random trombone section, or something, something a little bit silly there, but why is there this random cat squeal, I don't know, something that's completely different and that's not there in the original. I I could completely sympathize in that situation. um Had that occurred, obviously it didn't, and I have an immense amount of respect for that. I love the impromptu-ness of this music video. There's no big storyline in terms of like it's just Maito, it's just him and the camera, and they're the two pieces of cinematography that are telling this story. You've even got like I'm just scrubbing through as I talk to you guys. You've even got in the how do I describe it? The really emotional parts. You can see he's got his AirPods in. It's a very minimal kind of setup there. There's not this big clearly behind the scenes. There's not this big production going on, because if you had this big production, you'd have like maybe speakers on set rather than having AirPods. And I think that's even in itself another thing the fact that he's got AirPods in, um, it's this kind of, this is mine. There's almost a secrecy to it that's almost like mine. No one needs to hear this but me, kind of thing. Um, if it was any other artist, I'd be like, oh, they're trying to hide the song before it comes out. But with Maito, it feels like, yeah, it definitely feels like there's this protective possessiveness over this song, um, that in all honesty, I can understand. Um, but yeah, I wanted to just see at the end here. Um, I'm trying to read the backwards words. I can read DPR, but I'm trying to read the backwards words. I think that's visual. Does that say Ian? Visuals, Ian? Okay. Sorry. That took me very, very a lot um to read that. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a beautiful music video. Um, it's so simple. It does what it needs to do. There's I think two costumes throughout. One if you not one, but one full costume and then a change of shirts if you don't consider like the shirt as a full costume. Um, but wow, I think for its length as well, this might be one of my favorite songs from DPR Ian, as like the artist name. Obviously, it's Maito, but yeah, um, wow, wow. There's also, I guess, a self destruction as well. Um, it's almost there is almost this plea of like, yes, take me seriously, but at the same time, there's this very real fear that they're not going to be acknowledged. They're not going to be their existence is not going to be treated with the respect that they deserve, and so they're self-destructive, and it's almost like this kind of, if we kind of take the cinema kind of approach, it's almost this villainous. If I can't have this, no one can. There's that kind of edge, because I'm looking at this lyric right now where it says until there's nothing left of me. It was just after talking about um, the sinking the remains below. Sorry, that was really difficult to get that right. Sinking the remains below. He's talking about the physical Ian, and then talking about sinking himself and the host Ian within the psyche. Um, and so, yeah, that is quite, you're as a personality, you're so tired of existing for someone else. Well, you can't survive without me. I'm going to prove it. It's almost as well like I've become a villain because of you. So now I'm going to step into the role a little bit. Um, yeah. Wow. I've talked for 30 minutes. Um, about a 1 minute and 53 second song. Wow. That didn't, I don't know about you guys, but that did not feel like 30 minutes. Um, Again, I love that Maito has this song to shine and that it hasn't been changed. Um, I'm just looking at a comment on this actually. So I guess that Skins was originally going to be created as a full version and then was changed. Then Ian changed his mind not to. Wow. Ooh. Yeah, I definitely think it was the better call. Um, Obviously, like I said, to put it on streaming, you've got to like meet certain guidelines and completely get that. Um, but extending it or anything like that, I think unless Maito took over and finished it, that would be my only kind of as a listener, that would be my only kind of acceptable reason for it to be finished, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I think Ian made the right call in not extending it, not interfering with it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this with me. What a heartbreaking song. Um, Amazing lyrics. Um, Cinema in simplicity is what I'm going to call this, from the visual perspective. Um, and even in, again, in the accompaniment, cinema in the strings and the arrangement. Um, yeah, so let me know if I missed anything, if you have anything to add. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone. Goodbye. Oh, don't forget to support the original. Bye. Bye.